Royal Caribbean and Celebrity Cruises are owned by the same company, but why do they feel completely different once on board? At the 30 plus sailings between the two lines, we figured out exactly what sets them apart. And in this video, we're going to tell you where each one shines and misses the mark, and some of these answers might surprise you. Welcome aboard, I'm Don B from Eat Sleep Cruise. So let's start with the most important question. Who typically sails with these cruise lines? Well, to be honest, both lines attract a wide range of travelers. But once you spend a day on board each, you notice a difference in vibe. Royal Caribbean draws a more energetic crowd. Families with young kids, multi-generational groups, couples, friends, solo travelers, all united by the idea that more is more. The atmosphere on board skews lively and active, especially on the bigger Oasis class and Icon class ships. There's so much going on at any given moment that's nearly impossible to fit it all in one cruise. But of course, Heidi tries. That's a huge part of the appeal of Royal Caribbean, and that's probably one reason you're considering the cruise line. Now, sister brand Celebrity Cruises deliberately positions itself differently. The atmosphere is more quiet, more refined, and designed around relaxation. Good food, good drinks, beautiful surroundings. You'll find a lot of couples, adult friend groups, and there's still some solo travelers prioritize quality over quantity. Pool deck on Celebrity ships is noticeably calmer than what you'd find on a comparable Royal Caribbean sailing. Heidi and I have sailed both lines as a couple and with our family, and those experiences were great every time. When we want an active adventure, something exciting around every corner, Royal Caribbean delivers. When we actually want to decompress and feel like we're on vacation visiting unique ports of call, rather than go, 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 Celebrity Cruises is our pick. Now, before we dive into how these cruise lines compare on categories like dining, entertainment, or cabins, there's one thing you need to understand about both of these lines. Not all ships in each cruise line's fleet is created equal. Royal Caribbean has close to 30 different ships in its fleet, and Celebrity Cruises has about 15. On Royal Caribbean, the experience varies greatly depending on which ship you're on. Older Voyager and Vision class ships are perfectly fine, but it's completely different than a newer Oasis or Icon class ship. The same is true on Celebrity Cruises, but maybe to a lesser extent. The older Millennium class ships have been revitalized and are solid, but the Edge class ships, Beyond, Ascent, and especially Excel, are fundamentally different experiences. Solstice class ships are currently going through a major revitalization, so that gap is narrowing. So when comparing these two lines, make sure you're comparing the right ships. The name of this channel is Eat Sleep Cruise. So for us, food is an important factor when choosing a cruise line, and we suspect it's also important in your decision. Here, there is a clear winner. Both lines include the main dining room and buffet in the base fare. Both rotate their menus nightly. Both offer set and flexible dining times, and both have built-out deep specialty restaurant lineups. On Royal Caribbean, the main dining room is solid. Theme menus that change every night, service is efficient, and for a ship feeding thousands of people, the execution is consistent. But in our experience, Celebrity's main dining room is a genuine step up in quality. Better menus, better execution, and more thoughtful presentation. And on the newer Edge class ships, it's actually 4 separate main dining rooms: Cosmopolitan, Cyprus, Normandy, and Tuscan. Each one offers that nightly rotational menu plus its own exclusive theme menu. That's a level of dining variety that's included in your fare. Royal Caribbean also offers specialty dining restaurants, and depending on the ship you're on, there's most likely going to be a steakhouse like Chop's Grill, Giovanni's for Italian, and Azumi for Asian. There's also hooked seafood, and on newer ships, venues like Wonderland for more theatrical experience. Celebrity matches up well, especially on its newer Edge class ships. Fine Cut Steakhouse is one of the best steakhouses at sea. There's also Roar on 5 for sushi and Asian-inspired dishes, and on the newest Edge class ships, Le Voyage by Daniel Boulud. We've eaten there, and it's one of the best meals we've ever had at sea. When it gets to casual dining and quick service, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. Royal Caribbean has more options just by sheer volume. On their newest ships, they have venues like Base Camp, Surfside Bites. There's also A Local Fresh for Tex-Mex. And yes, there's always Sorrento's Pizza, open until the wee hours of the morning. Older ships may have less options, but the lineup has grown meaningfully over the years. Celebrity Cruises is more limited on older ships, mostly the Ocean View Cafe Buffet and the Mass Grill poolside. But what they do have is exceptional. The Ocean View Cafe in particular is one of the best cruise ship buffets. Cafe El Bacchio is one of our favorite spots on any cruise ship. Specialty coffees, espresso drinks, fresh pastries, incredible desserts throughout the day. It's definitely a cut above Royal Caribbean's typical cafe promenade. On newer Edge class ships, there's the Eden Cafe or Spice Cafe, which offer nice casual dining options for breakfast and lunch. So Royal Caribbean wins on sheer casual dining variety. More venues, more options, and more flexibility. But Celebrity wins on quality, main dining room all the way to the casual spots. And then there's entertainment, one of the most talked about categories in cruising, and where the gap between these two lines might be the widest. Now, if you're a subscriber to this channel, you probably know what I'm going to say. And if you're not a subscriber to this channel, what are you waiting for? Make sure to subscribe down below and to click that notification icon. But for us, Royal Caribbean sets the bar for cruise ship theater. We're talking about legitimate, full Broadway productions like Hairspray, Grease. Icon class ships have fantastic productions like Back to the Future the Musical and The Wizard of Oz. And these shows rival anything you'll see on land. And even their original productions are a step above the competition, with shows like Flight, and yes, they even have their own superheroes, the Effectors. Beyond the main theater, many Royal Caribbean ships also have Studio B, which hosts professional ice skating shows. Probably my favorite entertainment venue on any ship, the Aqua Theater on Oasis class and Icon class, which delivers world-class spectacles. High diving, acrobatics, synchronized swimming, nothing else in mainstream cruising comes close. Now, Celebrity Cruises theater productions are well produced and more artistic than most people expect, and they've actually gotten a little bit better. On Edge class ships, the shows combine live performances with immersive LED technology. Also on the Edge class, the club hosts additional interactive performances throughout the sailing, and these immersive exclusive productions include aerial artists and cutting-edge staging. It's impressive and a little bit more adult and intimate than a big stage show. When it comes to activities and nightlife, Royal Caribbean runs at full throttle all day. It's trivia, game shows, cruiser competitions, and yes, the quest. If you haven't done the quest yet on a Royal Caribbean sailing, put it on your list. It's one of the more interesting cruise ship events anywhere. They also have comedy clubs, live music in multiple venues, and a nightlife atmosphere that keeps the energy high well past midnight. And Celebrity Cruises does a lot of this too. There's also going to be trivia, game shows, there'll be deck parties and the silent disco. There's also one of our personal favorite, the Liars Club, which is a hilarious onboard game show where crew members tell outrageous stories. Passengers have to figure out who's actually telling the truth. The club on Edge class hosts theme nights and interactive parties that feel more curated than something you'd find on Royal Caribbean. And one of the most unique spaces on any cruise ship, on Celebrity Excel, the Bazaar transforms throughout the sailing. Live entertainment, cultural experiences, destination-themed events that change from port to port. Both lines have live music throughout, found in the bars, on the pool deck, and in lounges. Think rock concerts in the music hall to a duo in the Rendezvous Lounge. But overall, when it comes to entertainment and nightlife, Royal Caribbean wins for sheer variety and production scale. Now, if you're starting to get a little overwhelmed, we completely understand. If choosing between Royal Caribbean Celebrity Cruises is your first ever cruise, it can feel very stressful. That's why we want to make you a special offer. We want to send you a completely free copy of our Ultimate Cruise Planning Guide. It'll take you from booking to on board and covers everything we wish we knew before we took our first cruise. It also includes printable checklists, packing guides, and a budget worksheet to help ensure you stay one step ahead of everyone else on board. So scan the QR code on screen or click our exclusive link down in the description. Download your completely free copy right now. Don't worry, I'll wait. What goes better with a show? Well, an adult beverage. And both lines have strong bar programs, but the personality of each is different. Royal Caribbean has built out a bar lineup that's themed, distinct, and sometimes treads into the gimmicky area. The Bionic Bar with robotic bartenders and the pesky parrot with its animatronic, no-filter bird. They're fun, but the drinks at both locations are average at best. But beyond those, Royal Caribbean has built bars with genuine personality that you find across the fleet. There's the Lime and Coconut, which has elevated the outdoor pool experience with tropical drinks, great energy, and it's definitely one of the more popular spots on any ship. The schooner bar is a fleet-wide staple with updated cocktail menus, and luckily they haven't gotten rid of Heidi's favorite drink, the lavender daiquiri, with live piano music. Boleros brings Latin-inspired cocktails, live music, and dancing. There's an English pub with an extensive beer and spirits list and live acoustic music. And on newer ships, there's the music hall with live rock music, or the swanky 1400 lobby bar on the Icon class. Now, Celebrity Cruises bar scene is more curated and more sophisticated. And in our opinion, the cocktails here are just better executed. The main event is the Martini Bar. It's a signature Celebrity Cruises experience. Bartenders here put on a show, there's an extensive menu, and the atmosphere that's generally lively. The Sunset Bar is also found on many ships, a stunning outdoor aft location and drinks that match the view. The World Class Bar serves upscale craft cocktails in an intimate setting, and on the Edge Class ships, there's the Eden Bar, where it features some of the most creative cocktails you'll see at sea. Now, both cruise lines offer drink packages. In fact, Celebrity Cruises actually offers two. Celebrity's classic drink package starts around $90 per person per day, and its premium drink package starts around $105. The Royal Caribbean Deluxe drink package does have dynamic pricing, but they're usually pretty comparable in price. The deluxe package usually ranges between $80 to $100 depending on the ship and the region you're sailing. The key difference is that the Celebrity's all-included fare can bundle the classic package into the base fare at a reduced rate, making it a better value. And we'll actually get to pricing and a value in a few minutes. So when it comes to bars and drinks, there's a tie. Royal Caribbean takes the lead for variety and the fun factor, where Celebrity wins for quality, cocktails, and drink package value. When it comes to pool decks and outdoor spaces, this is one category where the two lines couldn't be more different. Royal Caribbean's pool decks are built for action. In Oasis class ships, you've got multiple pools, flow rider surf simulator, rock climbing walls, a zip line, mini golf, a carousel, I could go on. Icon class takes it even further with a full water park and dedicated family area called Surfside with its own pool and splash zone. If you want energy, activity, and a deck that never really slows down, Royal Caribbean delivers that maybe better than anyone else. Celebrity's outdoor spaces are designed around a completely different philosophy. The main pool area is relaxed, well-maintained, but the real stars are the solarium, the adults-only indoor-outdoor retreat, its own pool, hot tubs, and a calm spa-like atmosphere. And on the Edge class ships, the rooftop garden, that's one of our favorite spots actually on any ship. It's green, it's quiet, it's beautiful, has entertainment. It's generally a peaceful place to spend an afternoon. Celebrity's pool deck is a place to decompress, not a place to compete for a lounge chair. And while Royal Caribbean used to be one of our favorite pool decks, as we get a little bit older, we start leaning more towards Celebrity Cruises. You know us, you know Heidi and I typically sail just as a couple. But if you're going with kids and with families, you're wondering about those youth centers, well, you're probably honestly not wondering about those youth centers. This one's pretty straightforward. Royal Caribbean's kids and teens programming is among the best in the industry. Adventure Ocean divides young cruisers into age-appropriate groups, each with dedicated activities, crafts, games, and themed events. Teens have their own spaces too. And beyond the programming, the ships themselves are built with families in mind. Just mention the massive pool complexes, water slides, dedicated family areas on Icon, family suite configurations, and enough onboard attractions to keep kids happily occupied for an entire week without repeating themselves. Celebrity does have kids and teen programming. Camp at Sea covers age groups 3 through 17 with arts and crafts, scavenger hunts, sport competitions, and movie nights. It's fine, but Celebrity ships aren't designed around families the way Royal Caribbean's are. I always like to say Celebrity Cruises is family friendly, not family focused. That said, if you're traveling with older kids or teenagers who are less interested in all the bells and whistles and more interested in good food and a relaxed trip, Celebrity can be a great fit for you. But for most families looking to make sure their kids are entertained and occupied, Royal Caribbean is the clear choice. Both cruise lines offer a full range of cabins and accommodation, but the feel of the staterooms are noticeably different the moment you walk in. Celebrity's cabins tend to feel more refined across the board. Better finishes, more thoughtfully designed, and a more upscale feel even at the standard balcony level. And even on the older ships, the fleet has held up well. Millennium class went through revitalization in 2019, and the Solstice class is currently being upgraded as well. Many Celebrity Cruises ships also have a cabin category that Royal doesn't really have an equivalent to, Aqua Class. These staterooms sit just below suite level, but include complimentary access to the ship's thermal spa, free fitness classes, and an exclusive dining venue, Blue, which is a quieter, more intimate alternative restaurant reserved just for Aqua Class guests. It's a middle tier for guests who want something elevated without going full suite. But at the top, there's also the Retreat, which delivers a true ship-within-a-ship experience on Celebrity Cruises, has a private sun deck, exclusive restaurant Lumine, dedicated lounge, and full butler service. Royal Caribbean's standard cabins are comfortable and well-maintained. They get the job done. Where Royal Caribbean really earns points is variety. On newer ships, especially, the options go well beyond inside, ocean view, standard balcony. On Oasis class and Icon class ships, you can book inward-facing balconies overlooking Central Park or the boardwalk neighborhoods. Icon class adds infinite balconies, where a floor-to-ceiling window opens to blur the line between inside and outside. Although, fair warning, Icon stole these from the Edge class. The Edge class were the first ships to debut this controversial cabin category. In fact, let us know in the comments below, are you team infinite balcony or team traditional balcony? Royal also has ships that have virtual balconies on interior cabins for those who want a view without the price. And at the top end, the Star Class Suites bundle specialty dining, unlimited drinks, Wi-Fi, gratuities, and a dedicated Royal Genie concierge who handles pretty much everything. It's pretty sweet, but it's also pretty expensive. Overall, Celebrity Cruises wins with standard cabin quality that's more consistently elevated across all categories. Both Royal Caribbean and Celebrity sail the major destinations: Caribbean, Mediterranean, Alaska, Mexico, Northern Europe. Royal Caribbean's sweet spot, though, is 7-night Caribbean sailings, and they do it extremely well. They also offer more shorter 3 and 4 night getaways, which makes it one of the most accessible options, especially for first-time cruisers or anyone who just wants a short vacation. And then there's Perfect Day at Coco Cay, Royal Caribbean's private island in the Bahamas, which has become one of the most talked about stops in cruising. Got a water park, beach clubs, overwater cabanas. Celebrity offers plenty of 7-night sailings, and they're actually just starting to offer shorter sailings, although these are on older ships. And actually, some of these shorter cruises do stop at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. But many of Celebrity's itineraries skew longer and more destination focused. You'll find a lot of 10 to 14 night sailings and a strong European presence across the Mediterranean, Northern Europe, the British Isles, destinations that Royal Caribbean doesn't sail often. Celebrity Cruises also has Celebrity Flora, the only mainstream cruise ship sailing the Galapagos. So the line tends to attract guests who are interested in where the ship is going as much as what the ship has. And that's why picking the cruise line does depend sometimes on region. We've had amazing Caribbean cruises, short Bahamas cruises with Royal Caribbean. We also took an unforgettable 11-night European cruise on Celebrity Beyond. So it's worth considering where you're sailing when looking at these cruise lines. Now, it is true that Royal Caribbean typically carries a lower base fare than Celebrity Cruises. In the Caribbean, for example, you might get a balcony stateroom on a Royal Caribbean ship for maybe around $175 versus $200 plus on an Edge class ship. And then there's also ships to consider. The Icon class ships actually sometimes have a higher price point than Celebrity Edge class ships. And this again is where region also factors in. In both Europe and Alaska, where Celebrity tends to deploy better ships and run longer itineraries, the price gap between the two lines can narrow. On both lines, you can probably find Mediterranean sailings or Alaska sailings priced at $1,200 to $2,500 per person for balcony sailings. But then when you factor Celebrity's all-included fare, it might become more competitive to Royal Caribbean. So overall, Royal Caribbean does win when it comes to base fare, and it offers a lot on its ships. But you need to do the full math before you're assuming your total vacation will just be cheaper with Royal Caribbean, especially when you're sailing outside the Caribbean. We suspect by now you know which cruise line is right for you. But just in case you need a reminder, you should probably cruise on Celebrity if you want elevated food and a more refined experience. If you're traveling as a couple or a group of adults, you want to actually decompress on your vacation rather than go nonstop. You're drawn to longer sailings and destination-focused itineraries, and if the math works out on the all-included fare, as it often does. Now, Royal Caribbean is great if you're traveling with kids or teens who want activities and thrills from morning to night. Heck, sometimes Heidi and I want a good water slide. If Broadway caliber entertainment and a packed activity schedule what makes a great vacation in your mind, then Royal Caribbean's it. Listen, you're talking to a guy who also runs a channel called Eat Sleep Disney, so we're all about going big or going home. But as we've mentioned multiple times in this video, we've sailed on both lines, and we like both lines for different reasons and in different scenarios. So the choice is up to you. But now that you know which cruise line is best for you, you need to book that cruise. And luckily, our friends at MEI Travel are here to help. Now, Heidi and I are not travel advisors, so that's why we partner with MEI Travel. We love working with our personal cruise consultant, Blair, who navigates all the options to find the ideal cruise line, ship, and itinerary at the best price, and make sure we take advantage of any deals or promotion. So scan the QR code on screen or click our exclusive link down in the description, get your free, no obligation quote. And of course, we have plenty of other great cruise tips and cruise advice videos right here on YouTube to help you stay one step ahead of everyone else on board.